Anyways, I'm very much excited to get into these issues. I like both of these quite a bit.
Yeah, this was a solid. I think both issues were basically on par with each other this time.
Yeah, story-wise and art-wise, I think the art's pretty damn good in both of these.
Yeah.
All right. And we are back. This is Become a Bat, a chronological dissection of Batman from the very beginning in 1939. I'm your host, Mike.
And I'm Tom.
And we're going to get into Batman number 5, story number 4, and Detective Comics number 56 today.
Yeah, this is good. This was a good week too.
Yeah.
I really like this one.
So we're going to start off with Batman number 5, story number 4, Crime Does Not Pay. And is this the last story in this Batman number 5, or is there one more?
No, I believe this is the last one into 5, so we'll be able to do Batman number 6, which I think we might want to maybe we'll just do like the next couple issues will just be Batman number 6.
Mm-hmm.
That way we can try to get them more in sync since they do like the multiple stories, the quarterly Batman comics, and
Yeah.
that way we're like in 1941 still like entirely like closer together rather than being out of sync.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is a good way to end Batman number 5 for sure then.
Mm-hmm.
With Crime Does Not Pay. Art by Bob Kane, Jerry Robinson, George Russos. Story by Bill Finger. You want to read the splash page on this one, or do you want me to?
Let me give it a shot.
All right.
Weird, strange creatures of darkness, mysterious as night itself. This is the Batman, nemesis of crime. At his side, like a strong right arm, is his young ally, Robin, the boy wonder. It is little no wonder that crooks fear them, for they are the greatest crime-busting team the world has ever known. Follow them in this, their latest adventure, as they prove once again that an erring boy, that crime does not pay.
Ooh. Not bad.
Almost had it.
Yeah. This is a cool splash page. It's just Batman and Robin on a rooftop, and it's got this cool like behind the back angle. So you're almost like seeing from their perspective, or like you're on the roof with them while they're watching some crime happen down in the street below.
Yeah, a bank robbery.
Yeah. This panel is very beautifully drawn. It definitely looks like it's done at night because the sky is like gray and the buildings have like this green and orange shadows cast on them. It's very cool. It's very moody and evocative. All right, let's get into this. A typical night in Gotham City. Batman and Robin thwart a bank robbery. They descend upon the two robbers. Batman moves in one. Batman moves in on one, and he's surprised to find that one gets defensive and tries to protect the other. He unmasks one to find that it's only a boy. The other one shoots at Batman, and then they make their getaway. You wrote B&R. B&R make a chase in the Batmobile. They eventually find the robber's car abandoned. Tracing the car would be a fool's errand, as they probably stole it in the first place. Batman decides that it might be smarter to investigate the area tomorrow, as Bruce Wayne. The next day comes, and Bruce is walking down when he bumps into his old flame, Linda Page. She's now spending her days as a nurse, helping the sick and injured. Bruce and Linda walk down when they come across an old lady named Miss Grogan. Linda tells Bruce that Mrs. Grogan's sons, Tommy and Mike, have been giving her trouble, being mixed up with the mob. Just at that moment, Linda spots Mike and Tommy walking across the street. Bruce recognizes Tommy as the boy from the bank robbery last night. So later that afternoon, Mike and Tommy rob the Midtown Bank, and Tommy gets shot in the process. They manage to get away. Linda Page is at her apartment when she gets intruded on by a couple of gangsters, telling them that she's going for a ride. She agrees to help them, but first goes into her bedroom to put on some lipstick. Then they blindfold her and take her out to their hideout. They bring her to a room where Tommy is lying down and tell her to fix his gunshot wound. She's shocked to find out that Tommy is a bank robber, but she agrees to help him anyways. Batman goes to investigate Linda Page's apartment and finds a message written in lipstick on a piece of paper stating that she was kidnapped.
It was on her desk.
Was it written on her desk?
It was on her desk.
The hell? I thought it was on paper.
No.
Maybe the lipstick gave Batman an idea, because he goes to the Batmobile and pulls out his makeup kit and disguises himself as Trigger Burns, which basically matches Malone. An out-of-town mobster. He goes to the pool room of a gang establishment dressed as Trigger Burns and asks to see Mike Grogan. They agree to take him. Batman has them fooled, but only to a small degree. They pull a gun on him, not thinking that he's Batman, but that he's actually a cop. And don't they say that Trigger Burns was killed recently or something?
Something like that. It might be one
Or
of those
arrested?
situations where it's a known name. Maybe Batman knew Trigger was out of the picture, so he could safely use him.
Yeah,
Something I'm guessing.
but they knew too,
Yeah.
so they think he's a cop. Batman kicks back and pounces on them. He fights his way in. Robin is right behind. After taking out all of the mobsters, they leave. The mobsters wake up and lead Batman and Robin right to the Grogan hideout. Inside, one mobster tells Mike that a cop was asking for him. He thinks they're onto him. They decide they've got to go. Linda tells Mike that they can't move Tommy because it might be fatal. Mike tells the other gangsters to go. He'll stay. The other gangsters suspect that Mike will talk to the cops and shoots him. He's about to shoot Linda when Batman jumps in and takes him out. A fight ensues. During the fight, Tommy crawls off of the bed and makes his way outside and shoots a gun straight into the air in a bid to get the cops' attention. During the fight, a couple of gangsters get a hold of Linda and hold her hostage. Just then, a couple of cops come in and shoot the hostage taker. Batman and Robin use the opportunity to jump out of the window and escape. In his dying words, Mike tells the cop that he did all the robberies and that his brother is innocent. He urges Tommy not to end up like him and live a life free of crime. A few days later in court, a judge absolves Tommy of the bank robberies since he helped the cops capture the gangsters. Later, Linda Page and Bruce Wayne are at a restaurant, and Linda fawns over the dreamy Batman, wishing that Bruce was more like him. The end.
Rest in peace, Mike. What's it like being dead?
This feels good.
Yeah, well, I thought Tommy was also gonna die, because when she made a point about how he shouldn't move.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so he's gonna go out there and also die, and they'll have a sad, tragic death.
Bleed to death on the rooftop.
Yeah, but I guess they went for a slightly happy ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a pretty solid one.
I just thought it was funny that the characters' names are Mike and Tom.
I know, what are the odds?
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. I don't want to take I think aesthetically, Mike and Tom sounds better.
Mm-hmm.
But the only reason why when we group our names together on stuff like this is not out of vanity, but because there's already another podcast called Mike and Tom Eat Snacks with Michael Ian Black and Tom Cavanaugh, which is very funny. I love it. So it's all right, well, they got that covered.
Yeah.
But what was my point there? I don't know. Just that was a weird coincidence.
It is weird.
That early into Batman too.
I know, right?
My iPad locked up.
We're still in the golden age.
I know.
We will be for quite a while too.
Yeah. Also, I just realized this now, just because this is this is Linda Page in Batman #5,
Mm-hmm.
which was this is a spring issue, and then but before this, in the previous episode we just recorded, was Linda Page in which takes her to Uncle's aviation company.
Yeah.
I didn't realize at that time that in this one she would have been the nurse.
Right.
So I kept thinking up until now, just to connect to the dots, I'm oh, she becomes a nurse after that issue.
Yeah.
It's oh no. So this story happens before. So I wonder if I don't think she quit, but maybe that was just during her off day or something. Because this episode makes it this story makes it seem that they had their adventure at the aviation company, and then Linda's I'm bored of you, Bruce, and she wants to become she wants to have a career of her own.
Right.
So you don't get that impression in the next one. If you're reading them chronologically, you wouldn't get that impression.
No, you really wouldn't.
What thoughts do you have on this one?
Well, this is another one that I feel could have been written by Spillane, just because it has that same sort of intelligence to it, the way that it's written. It's just written a lot better than a lot of the other stories we've been reading recently.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any weird, cheesy, science fiction elements or out of this world stuff. It feels a lot more realistic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the quality's definitely gone up a bit.
Yeah, this one definitely reminded me of the Most Wanted, the one where with the criminal, who dedicates his life to crime and then ends up dying alone in the gutter. It definitely felt like that because it had a moral,
Mm-hmm. It was if Jimmy had a brother, and then the brother saw what happened to him and decided to change his life based on that.
Yeah. What else did I have to say about this one? Well, I really liked it. I thought it was good. I think I'm gonna add Like I said, I think I'm gonna add Batman number 5 to my must
Mhm.
buy eventually list whenever I'm rich. My
Yeah.
hypothetical rich buy list.
Yeah.
It's just really good.
Let's get into the panels then.
All right.
So I know both of us would have picked this one.
Oh yeah, I screenshotted all the panels that I liked, and then like most of them were already posted.
Yeah. Yeah, this one's really good. It's just it's the panel is Batman talking, but it's like a vertical panel and it's a zoom in on just everything above the nose on Batman's cowl.
Yes, you just cannot see his mouth
Yeah,
or his skin at all.
And it really does feel like something that they could have like this could be in like a Batman comic decades after.
Yeah.
Like this is just a very classic shot.
It reminds me of something that Jim Aparo would draw. He always drew Batman with like a really huge emphasis on like the darkness around his face and his eyes.
Mhm.
And he always drew him with like the one ear being slightly further in the background and being all black.
It also kind of reminds me of that like that like that 60s or 70s era like Wolverine. Just like the orange in the background is making me remind me of Wolverine.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Let's see. And after that, next panel I chose, it's when Batman, Bruce meets Linda again after a while, and she tells Bruce that she's become a nurse, and then Bruce's reaction is, "A nurse? You gave up a place in society to work for a living? It's stupid."
Yeah, he's very arrogant in this conversation.
He's arrogant. I mean, he's putting up an act because he's actually proud of her.
Right.
But like saying it's stupid, you know what that reminds me of?
What?
It reminds me of Crisley in not Crisley, but it reminds me of Plan B.
Yeah.
Your stupid minds. Just the way they say stupid.
It's stupid. What is she wearing, by the way?
I don't know. Like I think it's supposed to be just like a hat, but
It
like
looks like a Peter Pan hat or something.
yeah. If it was green, I think it's the ankle, but from here it looks like a Peter Pan hat.
Yeah. Very strange.
After that, I chose because I was reading this issue for the very first time, so it felt like a non sequitur to me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's when the gangsters bust into Linda Page's apartment. She's sitting there. Maybe it's like before or after a shift, but she's in her nurse outfit, and they're like, "You're going for a ride," and she's like, "What?" But before that, she decides to go into her bedroom and put on some lipstick. And I'm reading this. I'm like, is this a non sequitur? Is this supposed to be like a sassy character moment for her? It kind of. I'm like, is the writer just being like really misogynistic here all of a sudden? I don't understand.
Yeah. I was like in the same category as you because part of me thought that like, oh, she's gonna leave a message, but then I was like, no, they're like right behind her. Is the next panel just gonna be like one of them being like dames, or something stupid like that?
I thought it was going for that because like they're right behind her, so I didn't even think about the message. That never crossed my mind. Yeah. And then which leads into our next panel where. Okay, I can see how you think it's on the paper.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the edge of the desk, like the front edge of the desk, but it also looks like it could be the top of the desk.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I don't think she's got a sheet of paper on the.
No, probably not.
But yeah, she wrote on lipstick. Also, they should have made it like red because it's just on the panel. It's in black ink. It looks like, but 2 gunmen have kidnapped me, and this is where Batman realizes that she's been kidnapped. So that's when I was like, oh, okay.
I like that he's like scratching his chin like he's solving some crime. Like, dude, she's telling you what happened.
Yeah. I mean, it goes to prove that, she's smart about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after that, I chose where as Trigger burns, Batman's getting held up by a gun. And he's like, they think I'm a detective.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought like the irony of it's pretty funny. He's like, it's not Matches, but like this is definitely like the blueprint for Matches Malone.
Yeah.
And maybe he realized, maybe this is why he adopts Matches because Trigger Burns is an established person, and they realized, yeah, no, you're not Trigger.
No, you need a character who's believable, but not someone else already.
Yeah, not a real person. So like, yeah.
These next 4 panels you picked, they can be summed up very, very simply. Yeah. Robin has got some big balls.
He's got some big balls, and this is like the most brutal thing I've seen him do in a long time.
Seriously, like I don't know about you, but pool balls are heavy and they would hurt to get hit in the face with, and so would a pool stick.
Yeah, like that guy has definitely got, if he doesn't like a dent or like a broken skull, he's got a concussion.
He's definitely got some brain damage or bone breakage or something.
Because from at least a few feet away, Robin just hurls the 8 ball straight into the guy's skull.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if it's the same guy or a different guy.
That guy he's hitting with the pool stick?
Yeah.
The same guy.
Like, I don't know how he managed to get him in the position, but the other guy, he's got his hands like on this edge of the pool table, his head's like on the pool table, and Robin like looks like he's about to just like stab him in the neck with the pool stick.
I think that's exactly what he's doing because you look at the motion lines, it looks like it's going down.
Yeah, I mean, he just like kicks him right off the table, so
Yeah.
like, he didn't impale him with it, but like,
But
yeah.
that's brutal. I love the little combos that they do like this. He like throws the ball at his face, then he smacks him down onto the table with the pool stick, and then kicks him in the head so hard that he falls backwards.
Yeah, and then after that, when he's doing the kick, we got Batman as Trigger Burns, like looking at Robin, in his handiwork, and it reminds me of those early issues where he's like sicking, like he's letting all those guys like fight Robin because he's like so confident in his abilities.
Yep.
He's like so happy, he's like jazzing, he's just jazzed to see Robin kick ass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I love these panels. I picked these two panels also, and the third one I added because I didn't have it in here already.
yeah,
It's just like two thugs being thuggish, and one's like, Mike, downstairs. And then he's like, yeah, he's down with the gang. Me, I'm up here watching all alone. Gee, them shadows give me them creeps. They got such funny shapes. That one looks just like a bat. So he's got like that typical like thug accent,
yeah.
But then I love that he's just like, talking to himself, walking around. Hey, that shadow looks like a bat. And then Batman just puts him in a freaking chokehold. And he's like, brother, you were never more right in your whole life. Like he just Hulk Hogan's him.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. It's good. And his hat falls off, of course. I picked these two also. I think you might have put one of them in here, but I put the other one in. But I like the transition between these panels, just like with the last one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Tommy waking up and he's like, Mike. And then Linda's like, you killed him. And then Mike's like, sure. And I'm going to let you and the kid have it too. That'll take care of all the loose ends. Wait, that's not him. Who is that?
Well, Mike is on the floor.
Yeah, that's right.
And then
That's just Nameless Thug
I
number
just
one.
nameless thug. I'm gonna guess he's like Mike's number 2.
Yeah. Maybe his name's Mike too. Who knows?
Oh.
But anyways, then Batman, because he says like, that'll take care of the loose ends. And then Batman says, pull that trigger and one of those loose ends will be a rope around your neck.
Yeah.
That's so good. That's such a Frank Miller thing to say. So yeah.
He's not threatening to kill him. He's just saying you're gonna get the death sentence.
Yeah, he's basically like, do that and you're gonna die. The Batman. And then also like the giant bat shadow popping up. I love how the shadow of him has the really long ears, but like he still has really tiny ears.
Yeah, Batman's shadows defy physics.
Yeah. And then I love this picture of the Batmobile. This is my favorite Batmobile, by the way. But this is actually recycled from a previous issue that we just read. I just didn't pick that screenshot because I like this one more because I like the detailing on the Batmobile is like almost like a neon green.
Yeah, I like the almost neon green. I mean, to me, it looks like yellow, but like
It's really cool.
it clashes. It's not clashes. It complements really well.
Yeah. The only reason I think it looks greener is because like the moon in the background is like an orangish yellow.
Yeah.
And they're drastically different colors, but it's really cool. And then it also says, like an impatient steed straining at the reins, the Batmobile shivers as its supercharged motor throbs with energy, and an instant later, it tears after the fleeing hoodlums.
Yeah, it took them like a couple years, but once they realized we have a good idea with the Batmobile, they went in all on it.
Mm-hmm. And then I picked these as well. Same reason. I love this transition here. It's just Batman. And like this is from the very beginning, like right after the splash page, because on the splash page, they're looking down on these criminals who were like running out of like a bank or something. I forget what it is exactly.
Yeah.
And then Robin's like, oh, we don't have enough time to be able to get down there and get to them. And then Batman's like, no, I think we can make this work. So he throws a rope onto like a street light, and then Robin jumps on top of him. Like he's like sitting on his shoulders, and then they swing down together on the bat rope with Robin on his shoulders. That seems very impractical, but I love the way it looks. It looks awesome.
It's teamwork. I love the teamwork.
And then like somehow Robin's like able to jump off like mid swing and like deliver a drop kick to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe it, but I like the way it looks.
I think I chose this next one where it's Batman got another guy in a headlock, but it's like when the two guys like they have Linda Page hostage.
Yeah.
And I just love the idea of like Batman mid action, mid headlock, and he's like, oh, so he's like surprised, like he actually, for once, like how would he have got through this without if the cops hadn't arrived?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I love Batman putting people in headlocks too, and I
Yeah.
like that he's like so into this headlock that they have to like be like, hey, you cut it out.
Yeah, this is a good wrestling issue.
Also, this kind of made me think of like the things that go through Batman's head. This is a little dirty, but he's like, okay, cut out the horseplay, or I plug this dame. I feel like Batman's probably like, I'm gonna plug that dame later.
Yep. Did you do this last one? Oh, hey, this was last edition because like after I was like re-looking at it, I'm like, oh snap. It's another Holy Cats.
Yes,
Yep.
it hasn't been in there that much, but it has been consistently popping up.
Yeah, that's never been like a thing like the pop culture really caught on to. Like,
You need to make a Holy Cats shirt,
yeah. I think if we ever merchandise
or I can
this,
get like a Holy Cats sticker going or something.
yeah, that's a brilliant idea. Yeah, if we're gonna ever merchandise this, Holy Cats, we gotta trademark that.
Yep.
All right.
I like how they're putting Batmobile and like Batarang and Bat everything in bold, like big bold font.
Yeah, I
They
think we
want
gotta.
you to know.
I think I gotta do a little investigation, see when they really started like merchandise out Batman. Like speaking of merchandise, because like that might be why Batmobile's got a little more prominent.
Probably because it was one of the first famous vehicles.
Yeah,
You know.
like you go to like any like hobby shop to this day, and you'll go to the model section, and
Oh yeah.
you'll find a variation of the Batman or two.
Oh yeah.
I think that about does it for Batman issue number 5 entirely.
Yeah. Good issue.
Yeah, great issue. Highly recommend you just like find this issue and read it. It's a fantastic one. All right, we're gonna take a brief break, and when we get back, we will conclude with Detective Comics number 56, The Stone Idol. And we're back. All right, so Detective Comics number 56, The Stone Idol. Art by Bob Kane, Jerry Robinson, George Russos, story by Bill Finger. We're already in October of 1941. You want to describe the cover?
Hell yeah. This is a really cool cover. This is one of my favorite covers so far too, and I never would have seen it if we didn't start doing this podcast, because I've read a lot of these already, but like when you're reading them really fast, you browse through a lot and you forget a lot of things.
Yeah, it's
But
like the Netflix like binge. You don't like absorb it as much.
I love this cover. It's another blue cover, but you only see the blue on like the top above the Detective Comics banner, and then the banner's in red with yellow font, and then the banner sort of becomes the art, like the cover art, because like half of the cover art is like a brick building, and it's the same exact color as the Detective Comics banner. So and it like flows together. It looks really cool, and I also love it because like the cover is kind of like tilted. It's like an askewed perspective, so you're like seeing this action go down, but it's almost like you're like tilting your head to see it. And it's just Batman who like he's like climbing up or falling down on like a ladder coming off of a fire escape ladder coming off of an apartment balcony, and he's being shot at by a thug who's in the foreground. And it looks like that thug is on the street because you can see like the top of a garbage can. Like they're really only one level up.
Mm-hmm.
And then Robin is like fighting another thug in a window on that first story or that second story. And he's like, the thug's like choking him, trying to push him out the window, and they're struggling. And it's just a really cool cover. And also it's night, but like the night is actually shown as black. And they rarely ever like show night as black. It's usually like a dark gray or like an orange or a purple or a red.
Yeah, because like the building itself is like orange red already, so I know they're not gonna do like an orange sky.
Yeah, it's just really cool. And then there's like these cool shadows being cast on the building by Robin and by the thug in the foreground. I was trying to think of like why that would be. It must be like a street lamp or something way in the foreground that we just can't see.
The color and the font of the Detective Comics on top here is just like Reese's.
Yeah, it's like that orange red.
Yeah,
it's really
like,
hard to
really makes me want to get like some Reese's Pieces.
Oh yeah, I could see that, the Reese's Pieces more specifically.
Yeah, like I wonder when Reese's came out.
I don't know.
Anyway, let's get into the story.
Got to do this splash page here.
All right, splash page.
This splash page is ridiculous.
I'll let you
because it's just a giant stone idol like crashing through a town. That thing looks huge.
Yeah, that is gigantic, but it's obviously not as big as that in the story, as we will find out.
No. All right. High above Ghost Gulch City sits the stone idol on his throne. At his feet, the Indians knelt and worshipped 2,000 years ago, and when the stone idol falls from his mountaintop, he strikes terror into the hearts of the people of the Ghost Gulch City, as he comes stalking with his strange followers to haunt the town. Only the nimble brain and quick body of the Batman, abetted by Robin, the Boy Wonder, is able to combat the terrible menace and bring about the downfall of the Stone Idol. By the way, I noticed that when you read the splash page panel on the last issue, it just said Robin. It didn't say Robin, the Boy Wonder. It has said Robin, the Boy Wonder in every single one so far.
Maybe they just forgot or they ran out of
Maybe.
room. All right, so synopsis. The story begins in Ghost Gulch City, a ghost city in an unnamed southwestern state where our boys, Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson, stop at their vacation across the United States. They're at a saloon where they hear an old man named Mad Mac. And I keep thinking Mad Max. Like, this is decades before Mad Max.
Mad Mac.
So they hear Mad Mac yelling about a stone idol that sits on a mountain. And Mad Mac warns them that tonight's storm will cause it to move. That night, a storm does come, and lightning strikes, and the stone idol falls from the mountain. Mad Mac's prophecy came true. A group of men, including Mad Mac and the mayor, gather around the statue. Two of the men are at awe and they're scared. The mayor chastises them for being scared. Then a blinding light flashes from the mountainside, and suddenly the stone idol gets up and starts walking on its own volition. The idol tells them, typo there. The idol tells them to leave the city or else they will die. The mayor gets angry and he starts yelling at the idol. Another light flashes and the idol is back to sitting inanimate.
Can I just say something real quick?
Yeah.
I knew this idol was not real, not just because it's a Batman issue, and obviously it's not going to be real, but it's speaking English, and it's how old, and it's supposed to be a Native American idol. Why would it speak English?
Good point. Yeah, good point. So Mad Mac tells them the story. Mad Mac tells the mayor to heed the idol's words. Later on, the mayor is telling folks in town that they got to stay and fight for their homes. That's when Mad Mac runs by and he tells them that the stone idol is attacking the town. The idol has 3 strong men helping him. Batman and Robin arrive on the scene and get to clobbering them. After a bout, a blinding light flashes and the idol is suddenly back to sitting on top of the mountain. Mad Mac stirs up some of the townsfolk, turning them against the mayor. They seize the mayor and they bring him to the idol for sacrifice. Just quick, like, wow, that's doesn't take long to get them like bloodthirsty for sacrifice.
Yeah.
They throw him off the cliff and he's caught by the Batman. Batman and Robin and the mayor start fighting these fanatics. A flash of light brings the idol back to life. It grabs Robin and then another flash puts it back on the seat and Robin is missing. Batman pulls out a giant mallet and he starts to bash the idol. He and the mayor decide to push the idol off the cliff. The statue lands down and reveals a cavern hidden below. He thinks Robin might be hidden there. He goes down and he finds a mine. He's attacked by a guy and he takes him down and he sees Robin being held by 2 other dudes, threatening to shoot him. Robin breaks free but is clocked aside the head and he's thrown onto the rail tracks. A minecart is on its way, so Batman jumps onto the minecart and he manages to jump in front of it and grab Robin before they're crushed. They fall further into the mine and are attacked by the stone idol. Batman punches the idol into a wooden support beam, breaking it, causing the mine to collapse in on him, killing him. Batman and Robin look for an exit when they find Mad Mac in the rubble. He explains that the original owner of the mine left it to the town when he died. He never found anything in there, but Mad Mac, searching, found a bunch of silver. Anything that he would claim would be split among the town. So he came up with a plan to drive the folks in the town away by painting up a man like an idol and scaring them out so they could all split the profits. He apologizes for his greed and then he dies. Batman and Robin get out of the mine and are thanked by the mayor for a job well done. The end.
Scooby-Doo.
It's a Scooby-Doo issue. Yeah.
It's the most Scooby-Doo one so far. You know, like you have this guy who, I mean, I guess it's maybe not the most, but pretty damn close. Like he discovered some kind of riches in a mine or something or a cave, and he wants it for himself. So instead of just like taking it and leaving and like not saying anything to anybody, you know, like because nobody would know, he comes up with this whole plot and scheme to like create this idol and just like, dude, you could have just taken the money or taken the silver and been fine.
I'm thinking maybe because you have to go somewhere to sell the silver. Maybe he didn't know a place around, like they would have questioned where he got it. I think that's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, maybe if it was really that much.
Yeah.
But I just think it's funny, like when people go to like extreme lengths and create like a supernatural entity, you know, like how many people are really going to believe that that's real?
You gotta wonder, maybe this is Batman and Robin. They're traveling around the country, and at this point in the DC universe, like superheroes are just emerging. Maybe this was just something that worked for a long time before this, and now because superheroes are around, vigilantes, they're catching this more and more often.
Like that was just what you do if you wanted to.
Exactly.
You wanted to steal something, you had to create some weird fake supernatural entity, and then everybody would run scared, and then you get away with it.
I mean, to bring this to a very dark and horrible thing in U.S. history, but like the Ku Klux Klan, they slaves became free, and they wanted to scare them out of their property. So they literally dressed up as ghosts to scare them off. It's that's dark. Ugh.
It is dark.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess we have that parallel in real history. Let's go back to Scooby-Doo. Yeah, so superheroes came around and like caught more Scooby-Doo situations.
Yeah. You know, I real quick want to touch on that KKK thing. That just makes them seem even stupider, that they think people would actually believe in ghosts that much when they look that dumb and that stereotypically ghost-like. Right?
I don't know. Yeah.
Anywho, I do have an issue of Batman where he's fighting a KKK member. Batman does not like them.
You know, I just bought digitally Superman fights the KKK or whatever it's called.
Really?
Yeah, it's getting like rave reviews. I don't know how old. Like, it must have come out not too long ago, but like I'm still catching up on like my Superman and everything. So
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, looking forward to reading that.
Beyond the whole like Scooby-Doo thing, I always love when there's like evil circus performers, you know, so I thought that was cool, but they didn't really play into it a whole lot. I guess technically the stone idol is a circus strongman with a wig on and paint all over his body, but since the focus is like the fake stone idol, it's completely off of the circus gang, which is a little bit of a bummer for me. That took it down a notch.
Yeah.
I also think that the art took a slight step back with this issue. It just feels a little more like the colors feel like they're bleeding a little bit, and like the inking, like the brush strokes or pen, I think they used a brush at this point. The lines are like too close together, so they bleed together, and it doesn't look so defined. So I don't know if it was just like a sloppy rush job, or like maybe it was like a printing error or something. But the art just doesn't look quite as good in this.
I kind of liked it. It reminded me of the issue a couple of weeks ago, where they clearly must have wanted to just get out of Gotham City and draw something different, like when they went to the storybook.
Yeah.
So like this one, we have a nice southwestern city, and I don't think they've had any locales like this so far.
Maybe all the issues where they're not in Gotham and they're like in some random, completely unrelated place are drawn by the same person.
Maybe,
you know.
Which brings me to the panels. Like first panel, one I really liked. Is like when the first blinding flash happens, and it's not like a white flash in this one. It's like the blinding flash is orange, and I really like the way like the three guys are like standing in it, and it's like shadowing them. I thought it
looks really cool.
I think that's a really cool panel.
It is, and it's one of those panels that has nothing to do with Batman, but it stands out on its own as like a really cool piece of art.
The next one I chose is Batman clobbering one of the circus guys. And just the way it's just like a hammer knockdown on his head. It reminds me of something like from like Three Stooges.
Is that what he's doing? I thought he was just like straight, just like whoosh, punching him, but like a straight punch. Like, because normally he does like those roundhouse punches.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the lines, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, either way, it looks very robotic and powerful.
Yeah. It's comical either way to me.
Yeah. So is this next panel. I really like this next panel a lot.
Yeah, there's like a nice silhouetted one. Batman's like, he's got a mallet and he's kicking. He's like doing almost a 300 kick.
Yeah, he is. He's just like kicking a guy down the stairs, but
Yeah.
there's like two men falling down the stairs, and there's like motion lines everywhere, and one of them's dropping a big heavy hammer.
Yeah. That was an excellent one.
Also, he's saying, "I'm king of the hill. Try to knock me off."
Let's see. After that, we got the mayor and Batman knocking down the idol, which is another nice silhouette. And then Batman in the next panel after that, looking down at when he finds the cavern. That's a nice solid panel.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a nice one.
See this panel right here, this next one. I think this is what he's doing to that strongman. It's the same type of motion where he's like throwing his fist like straight up. It's almost like an uppercut, you know.
Yeah, different point of view.
Let's see if you have a glass jaw, you stone idol.
Yeah, and then it, like punching him like in the solar plexus right after that.
Yep.
Which leads him into the support beam, which causes the collapse, and that's definitely a kill.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it was an intentional one, but he's not walking after that. He's gone. Let's see. Did you do this? Oh, I think you know why I picked this next one.
I picked that one.
Okay, okay, you picked it, but like when I was looking at, you know what it makes me think?
It looks like Batman's pulling a wedgie out of his ass.
It looks like he's pulling a wedgie out of his ass.
Yeah, I know. I love it. I had to pick it. And then it also says, but the Batman swiftly rights himself and pulls a wedgie out of his ass.
Yeah. Well, that's him writing himself.
I know. It's good. How does it not look like that? How would you ever not see that?
I think there's supposed to be maybe some speed lines, like it kind of looks smeared, but
you got to post that one on Twitter.
I'm going, yeah. I've been getting better at that.
Gotta work fast. Gotta pull this wedgie out before I can continue fighting.
Did you do this last one?
Yes, I did. I'll tell you why. This is another one of those panels that has nothing to do with Batman itself, but it's just I was laughing when I read this panel because it's just saying like, as the storm breaks over the town, a large truck crawls up the road onto the mountains, and this is just two random guys in a truck, and one of them's like, "It's a night for the devil," and then the other one's like, "Shut up and keep your eyes on the road." Like, why does this panel need to exist? It does nothing for the story, but I love it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a fantastic one. All right, so I think that just about wraps up this episode of Become a Bat.
Yeah, you know what the next two issues are?
Oh,
we were talking about just doing Batman number 6. So.
Yeah, so I think from the next couple issues, we're gonna do Batman number 6, get those taken care of, so we sync up closer to the end of 1941.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. Please, if you can, rate us on Apple Podcasts, anywhere else. We would appreciate it.
Follow us on Twitter.
Follow us on Twitter. Become a Bat Pod. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Goodbye.